Dun. Welcome to the Sovereign Spirit podcast featuring Liam Howard and Cecilia Woods. Cecilia, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi.
And what is today's podcast about?
Today's podcast is going to be, we're going to talk a little bit about money.
Episode 3, money.
And the importance of working on your wealth consciousness, how important it is for living a soul-led, heart-centered life and serving others. It's so important that we work on our wealth consciousness and our own fears around money, so we're not limited by it, because so many people are limited by money. And once you start to work on this, you can really see how people live these lives that are entirely directed on what's the best, the safest path, or what's gonna get me the most numbers in my account or whatever, and they're not actually living true to their heart. So that is one of our main topics for today, and Liam wants to really say something. So
yeah, and I really love what you said there, Cecilia, about heart-led, following your heart space, your energy, heart center, your heart chakra. Had a really, can you just put your hand on that cup? It's very annoying. Only joking. Well, actually not joking. We're okay, we're humans, we're allowed to feel annoyed at shit like that. I swore already, and it hasn't even been 5 minutes. We won't get monetized for this video.
You're going straight to hell.
Right. Anyways, I just wanted to say about the heart space thing, had a really fun conversation. We've actually been on a bit of a road trip vacation this weekend. We went to Bend, Oregon, and we visited some friends who were getting married, had a marriage celebration, and we were having a chat with this really, really cool guy, and a bit of a synchronicity with operating from the heart center. That's what kind of the universe wants you to follow. That's what your soul wants you to follow, is following your heart. And I just gave some advice to a person who didn't really know what they wanted to do exactly, and were thinking about, I want to do this because of money and stuff. And I just said follow your heart space, because ultimately that you won't have any regret. Not that you should have any regrets with whatever decision, because ultimately any decision you make is the right decision. There is no right or wrong decisions. And we also don't want to be judgmental or sound judgy to people that aren't necessarily listening to the heart space, and are just kind of following what they believe is right or what society has told them. That's totally fine. But we've been on the other side, the opposite side of the stick, where we've definitely not listened to our heart space. I was in the army. Cecilia was heavily indoctrinated through college and working in the medical, kind of animal medical industry, which is fine. But we now operate from our heart space, or try to, as much as we can. And let me tell you, I'm a whole lot happier, baby.
Yeah, and I just want to say, I want to talk a little bit about my heart-created business, but also, what does following your heart look like? First of all, your heart, you could also call it your intuition or your gut instinct, or, there's all these different things you can call it, but it's just this, feeling of ooh, even though that kind of sounds scary and it doesn't really make sense according to all these things I've learned and picked up in school and society, even though it doesn't sound like it is exactly the right way to go based on what other people think, there's some part of me that knows that this is my next step. There's some part of me that feels like this is the right way to go, even though it doesn't really make sense right now. And this can, following your heart is a process, and so your next step can look really simple, I'm gonna go read this one book I feel called to read, or I'm gonna go watch this one movie I feel really excited to watch. Or it can look a little bigger, ooh, I'm feeling really called to quit my job, or to move to this random new state that I've never been to before. I feel really called to go move here. And it's listening to those nudges even if they don't quite make sense. So I've created a heart-led business, and so has Liam. And we have scaled these businesses from $0 income to sorry, my baby just coughed in the back. This is not to brag, but I just had my first $1,000 week. And it was easy. It was fun. I made $500 in one day while we were literally on vacation. I wasn't doing anything, but the money just came in. And that's because I've been following my heart. I've been working on my wealth consciousness. And all of these little bits start to add up. They start to add up, and it really does truly work. But only you can bet on yourself. One sec. What do you need?
That little.
Your balloon?
Yeah.
One sec. I need to get my son his balloon. There you go. All of these things add up. All of the steps to wealth consciousness and abundance, inner abundance, everything you do, from reading books on wealth consciousness, generating wealth, listening to meditations, affirmations, listening to other people's stories of how they've created abundance in their life the energetic way by first doing the energetic work and following their hearts and not following the money, but like following your heart and following your joy and working on your wealth consciousness and calling in money that way. As you continue to follow these little steps, it adds up and it builds, and it pays off. But there is a little bit of a delay in the time from when you start to work on your wealth consciousness to when it pays off. So I had my first $1,000 week. It was so much fun. I barely feel like I worked at all. I feel like in earning that money, I was helping others, and I was exchanging beautiful energy with people, and it was so much fun, and it was expansive for me and for the whole universe. But it wasn't like this at first. There have been many, many, many days where I made $0 and all of these fears crept in and all of this stuff, but every single time I saw it as this opportunity to work through fear, to work through lack, to work through, oh, what if this doesn't work? And instead bet on myself and bet that it would work. And so this whole entire journey for me thus far has been, it's been a process. It hasn't been easy every single day, but now I'm making money and letting it flow in and learning to receive in a way that is so fun and so easy and so magical, and it feels so right and so good. And I cannot say that about any other job I've had working for other people. This feels really right to me because I've done a lot of energetic work around money.
Yeah, and there's a whole lot of programming out there. Like, I was led to believe that you're never going to get a successful business, you're never going to be able to make it work from the ground up with zero money, and like, we're led to believe that it's impossible or it's not going to happen. But don't forget, there's a lot of successful businesses out there that started from absolute zero scratch that now are very successful. I don't know any off the top of my head. I'm not talking about the big corporate companies, by the way, or people like Elon Musk and all that stuff. Like, they've had help from family. You just look into the history. It's like, that's not what we're saying. But small businesses that have become really successful. Just one off the top of my head, Gymshark. That guy came up with that idea. He was just a young kid in college, and now he's like a multi-trillion billion, business person. So. And that's not just chance. That's not just chance. He actually stuck to that and believed in it. And that's the key, is believing in yourself. Even when everyone else says that they don't believe in you. Like, you just got to stick at it, because we are at the start of reaping the fruits, reaping the rewards from our ability just to carry on and believe in what we're doing is right and better for the new earth, to be honest. And yeah, just wanted to say that. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome for listening. So yeah, it's just like wealth consciousness is so important. It's a matter of one, being open to it, and then also committing to it. Like fully committing and saying, okay, even if I don't quit my job on this very day, even if that doesn't feel right for me right now, I am committed to learning about this. I'm committed to listening to people talk about this who make me feel expansive and excited and like there's possibility out there. I'm committed to learning more about this and hearing more about this and opening up to this and thinking like, what if that could be me too? What if that could be my life? Because I have grown so much. I used to be terrified of spending money. Every time it was like the day to pay bills, I would dread it. I had this just pit in my stomach of just discomfort. I felt so uncomfortable spending money. If I went out to a restaurant, that was a really scary thing for me. The whole time I'd be thinking like, how much is this gonna cost? How much should I tip? How much money is going out right now? I was so scared of spending like $30 or whatever at a restaurant that I couldn't even fully enjoy the meal. Like all of these little ways I wasn't enjoying my life because I was just thinking about, I was fearful about spending money. I was fearful about how hard it would be to get that money back. And all of these old programs, it's taken me time to work through, but now, because I've committed to wealth consciousness, I was open to it. I followed the path as it came before me, as different books were suggested, as different like speakers popped up on YouTube talking about wealth consciousness. I followed that path, and now I can go to a restaurant and be like really enjoying the meal. Like, oh yeah. And there have been times where we go to a restaurant and we eat and one of us makes a sale while we're eating and the money comes back instantly. You know, like there's so much magic actually in money if you start to learn about it and open up to it. What it truly is energy, and it loves to be exchanged.
Yeah, exactly. And I just want to, this is all unscripted by the way, so if I have a brain fart I do apologize, but yeah, money is energy, and energy is, that's all it is, that's all this is, it's all energy, it's abundance. All there is abundance. And that's another level of deprogramming that I've had to do, and I still have to do at times, and remind myself, is that there is nothing but abundance. So if you're having any limiting beliefs, one for me, just as a personal example, is where, so I'm like a freelance illustrator / graphic designer. I'm an entrepreneur as well, like we just started our own clothing brand, Sovereign Spirit, shameless plug. But one thing that I had to deprogram myself was, there's so many other better artists than me. Oh, that guy's better than me. That guy's got, he charges so much more for this logo or whatever, this design. That's like a limiting belief, and that's like operating from the opposite of abundance. Because not just with art, it's completely subjective. It's energy. People gravitate towards your energy and want to support you with their energy based on your energy, and that can apply to every single job. So if you're having any self-doubts, like, oh, I want to really I really want to create a coffee shop, but there's this other coffee shop, blah, blah, blah. You're limiting yourself with your mind. And all there is abundance, guys. You know? So just remember that, like, that is like a limiting belief for a lot of people, and I can definitely fall in it at times. Just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, and abundance. Let's talk about abundance. This is a journey. Abundance is your natural state. It is truly your natural state. It is who you are. Like, you are abundance because you exist. Like, that, your existence is abundance. If you tune into your breath and just like feel that breath in, feel it come in, that's abundance. Breathe it out. Breathe it out, and you know there's another breath that's on its way. You're gonna continue to breathe. That air to you is free. that air to you is always coming. That is your body's most basic need. It is there for you. It's free. It's an abundant, infinite supply. It's waiting for you to just continue to breathe. That is like money. That is money's natural state, and everything else in our existence, it's natural state, because we live in an abundant universe. We live in a universe that is energy, that is infinite. You are infinite. Money's infinite. The universe is infinite. If you can picture, there's this potential that money is like breath. It's just wanting to come in and flow out, and come in and flow out. And there's always more available, and there's no need to cling to it. There's no need to force things to happen. There's no need to feel lack or competition. There's no need to feel like there's not a place for you in this universe. There's not enough for you. Everything that you've picked up about money that feels scary and feels limiting and feels lacking and not good, if a thought about money feels not good, guess what that means? It just means it's not true. That's what your emotions, your intuition, your heart is telling you. If a thought feels bad, if it feels bad to you, that's just because the thought is not true. And it's that simple. So any thoughts about money that don't feel good or don't feel abundant or feel heavy or scary, it's just because it's not true. And you can look at those thoughts and be like, okay, what else might be true in this universe that is infinite, that is made of energy, where I see all of these other people succeeding, and there is potential that I've heard about for enjoying your life and enjoying the things that you create and making money, doing what you love. If you can start to shift that each time you have like a heavy feeling thought, you're on this track to then let this work with wealth consciousness and money, and let your own work in the world become lighter and more fun and freer. Do you have anything you want to say right now?
Follow your heart.
Yep, follow your heart. I have another story of this conversation I had with someone this weekend. So someone was asking me, so you're an entrepreneur and your husband is too, and you guys have really small businesses. What do you guys do about benefits and retirement? Like, what's your guys' plans for that? And my response was, well, first of all, I don't ever really want to retire. If there is a point in time where I can no longer physically work, I trust that I will have scaled my business to the point that I will be able to support myself through money. And even if I can't, the universe will support me somehow. But I trust in life, and I trust in my own business to continue, or I trust in myself enough to continue to scale my business more and more and more, because I've scaled it from zero. I've worked through these money fears, these deep belief systems. I've worked through them, and I will continue to work through them, but I've seen it show up so intrinsically connected with my own self-worth and my own beliefs about what's possible. If I believe it's possible, if I believe I'm worthy, it shows up. I literally see it happen in my life now. And so I'm not thinking about retirement.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to get to a point, who knows, it could be very soon, to where I could put like, I don't know, a whole entire retirement's worth in my account in just a month. But I'll get there when I get there, and I don't have to worry about it. I get to worry about right now, and right now I get to follow my heart and do what feels really good to me.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, is like, retirement is in the future. Like, if you're operating from the future, you're not able to be present. You sever that connection with the universe, with God. So that's like something to think about. Probably doesn't make a lot of sense to people who aren't on the spiritual journey. But also, even from like an analytic standpoint or something, like, you could die tomorrow. You could literally die tomorrow, and like, if you're living for the future. But also, I don't know about you, whoever's listening, every single person who I know who is like older than me, who's saved up for retirement, who's worked that 9 till 5, who's grinded that out, is miserable. And they're not reaping the fruits at all. There's so much regret there. Every person, I'm not even like exaggerating, every person who I know, especially close family members, aren't happy about those decisions. And yet they project it onto others, because that would mean holding up a mirror and reflecting it to them, saying, oh wait, I could have like done something that makes me happy and like lived a fulfilling life. So that's just something else to think about.
And yeah, that's a beautiful flower. There's a flower balloon back there. I'm gonna keep talking, okay? And then we'll talk to you in a few minutes.
What happened to
The trees, some of them burned down. Okay, so continuing on with this topic, yeah, go straight. Continuing on with this topic, wealth consciousness is something only you can work on. Your spouse can't work on it for you. Your parents can't work on it for you. The government can't work on it for you. Your friends can't work on it for you. Like, you have to commit to your own wealth consciousness, because there is so much programming we each store in ourselves. There could be someone who could be like, hey, I'll pay you $10,000 a month for the rest of your life, and I'll take care of you. Great. Someone could come do that for you and like save you, or you could win the lottery, or like whatever fantasy scenario you have of like being saved from this topic of money, this scary, it seems scary topic of money, so it can seem. Whatever scenario you picture of like feeling saved, like, oh, I don't have to worry about it because I won the lottery, or like my spouse makes a lot of money. No matter how much money you have, you still won't feel safe with it. You still won't feel safe spending it. You still won't feel safe that it's gonna always come in. You still won't feel safe. You won't trust that it won't run out unless you work on your wealth consciousness. So it doesn't matter how much money you do or don't have. It literally doesn't matter. You have to commit to your own wealth consciousness. It doesn't matter what your spouse is doing. It doesn't matter what your family's doing. You owe it to yourself to fully enjoy life, and part of that is working on wealth consciousness, because there's so much fear around it. There's so much fear with like retirement and like benefits and taxes and like all of these things that we get taught to fear. If you work on your wealth consciousness, it all feels light and floaty and fun, and it feels good to make money. It feels fun to make money. Like, if you can even believe that, it feels really good and fun to make money. It feels good and fun to spend money. It is a fun game that we get to enjoy. It's not this big scary thing unless you make it this big scary thing in your mind. And if you're doing that, that's simply because you've been programmed to look at it that way. But it doesn't have to be that way. There are plenty of people on this planet who are fully enjoying their money. They have more than enough. They're enjoying making it. They're enjoying spending it. And so why doesn't that get to be you? It's not like they're more special than you. I'm not more special than you. I just have been committed to working on this for a few years now, and it's been an important aspect of my awakening and healing journey, is healing my relationship with abundance, because I just was so programmed into lack, and I could just see how I needed to work on these things to truly feel free, because I really didn't feel free when it came to money. But only I could do that for myself. My husband couldn't do it for me. My family couldn't do it for me. No one could do it for me. I had to do it for me. But I committed to it for myself, because I decided I'm worthy. I deserve to enjoy this life. I deserve to do what I love. And I deserve to feel abundant throughout this life. I don't want to be in lack throughout this life. Are you done talking, Liam? Okay. Our toddler's getting a little bit rowdy. We're gonna go. I will give you a couple of suggestions for recommended reading, and I can put it in the description, but I'll just describe it. We're currently reading through A Happy Pocket Full of Money right now. It's a beautiful book. It goes into quantum physics, abundance. It's a very spiritual money book, but it's one that you can like go through over and over and over. Rich as Fuck by Amanda Frances is an amazing book. It's a goldmine for figuring out your limiting beliefs with money. I also have a course on spiritualmomgang.com called Full Body Abundance. It's exactly how I worked through everything that made me feel not abundant and like worked through all of the internal fear. That's a course that I've got. What else? What other books? I'll add any other books. Oh, Rich Dad Poor Dad's a good one. Any kind of money book that you can read, especially the spiritual energetic money books, anything that gets suggested to you and sounds good, go for it. You know, trust that next step, that next right feeling step, like, ooh, I'm interested in learning more. Go for it. Read a book about it. Listen to videos about it. Open your mind about it. Anything that feels good, follow it. Rich Dad Poor Dad is more rooted in the physical, but it talks about the differences in like truly wealthy and poor kind of thinking. Oh, a balloon just popped. Okay, I'm gonna have to go. All right. See you guys next time. Bye.